The SA Sports Show, we're down here at the Morphettville Parks Footy Club, and look at the support that this club gets. That's the heart and soul of community football, and this is one of the great community football clubs around South Australia. We had the opening round on the weekend, and joining us is the big fella Craig himself to go through what was an exciting round one, Craig. It was a beauty.
Oh, mate, it was terrific. From the Southern Football League perspective, the Premiers got rolled.
Wow.
Yeah. in the battle with Flagstaff Hill, so that was a really good result for them. Some upsets. I'll get to talk about the Battle of the Sock.
Yes.
As we mentioned last week, Port Noarlunga beat Christie's in what was a little bit of an upset. Aldinga hadn't won a game for a couple of years, and as you remember, Shane Crawford came over to give him a bit of a help a couple of years ago. They actually had their first win.
His help a couple of years ago has started to work slowly.
Well, they had a big win, 90-odd points, so terrific for them.
Was that expected? Because that is a huge win for a club that hasn't been
well, no, and the normal game against O'Sullivan's Beach is normally nip and tuck. They'll win one, someone will win. So, yeah, it was a terrific result for them, and congratulations to Damien Smith down there. His hard work's now making some positive steps in the right direction.
And let's have a look at some of the results, round one.
Mate, as I said, Ranella, reigning premiers, took out the Champions Trophy at Thebarton Oval a couple of weeks ago. They got rolled by Flaggies.
Wow. Okay.
Sam Smith, back from Sturt, played a few league games last year.
He's a good singer, Sam Smith, not the same one?
Not the same one. Okay. This bloke, high-flying forward, last time last time he played in the league, 100 goals. Wow. So he started the season well with a handful, so really good for them. Morphettville Vale had a really good win over Hackham. A little bit to be expected there. Hackham are still trying to build. Happy Valley, up until half-time against Marion, only 5 points in it at half-time.
Yep.
Obviously got a blast at half-time and came out and kicked 8 to finish up comfortable winners. Another big surprise was a replay of the preliminary final that we touched on last week. Barry Poolmore, back from the Great Southern Footy League, coaching Noarlunga, his old stamping ground. They took on the Brighton Bombers, and mate, they got pantsed.
Pantsed?
Really?
Never a good thing to get pantsed early in the season. It's a long season.
Well, 10-goal loss to Brighton in a replay of a preliminary final. It's not looking all that good for Noarlunga, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. And in the game that we covered on Tribe FM, the match of the round with the broadcast van, as I said, the Battle of the Sock. Porties, who've been under the radar a little bit. Yeah. People don't know who they've got. Well, I can tell you, they're up and about, Porties. Okay. They've picked up a couple of really good recruits, certainly a big forward by the name of Carl Miller. He certainly gave them a big focal point. Again, if Chrissy's a kick straight, different story. Yeah. But as we all know, bad kicking is bad football. But really good result for them. And the last game of the round was here at Morphettville Park. The past is affectionately known. Yeah. As you can see, Poppy, a little bit strange directions. Goalposts don't actually align, a bit like Prospect Oval. You remember playing out there.
Well, never any good games for me, unfortunately. I always got thrashed. But I tell you what, it's a really great oval, and you do a lot worse than coming out to see Morphettville Parks play during the course of the year. But I might pass over to you now because you can have a chat to the big fella Benny, who's been looking after, and he's off to a dream start. So we'll finish off looking at round one, and you two guys can have a quick peek at round two as well.
All right, terrific. Thank you. And the last game of the round for last Saturday was the game Morphettville Park versus the Cove Football Club here at the Pasty, as it's affectionately known. I've got Ben Porter, the football director from Morphettville Park Football Club. Ben, a really good start to the season.
Craig, terrific to be here. Thanks for having me on board. Yeah, it was a great start. It was a great game of footy on Saturday with the Cove Cobras. They're going to be big improvers, the Cove Footy Club, so we knew that they were going to be challenging, and to get away with an 8-goal win was pretty exciting for us, and I know Byron Murphy was very excited. We're very, very pleased with our start for sure.
Yeah, and of course you had a foot in both camps, a previous coach of the Cove Football Club, so How are you feeling
Look, it was good
leading into the game?
It was good to win, I can tell you, because a lot of guys that I knew, I coached the Cove back in 2005 and 2006 and had a lot of fun down there, and a lot of guys came into the bar afterwards, and the relationships are still good, so it was great, yeah.
So you have good support from the Cove Football Club, or not just coming to play,
Absolutely.
but also afterwards?
Terrific. One thing about the Southern League is that the clubs get together and have a beer and socialise afterwards, and I think it's one of the great strengths of footy in this competition, for sure.
And mate, you've got a new role here at the Morphettville Park Football Club, football director. What does that entail?
Well, actually, director of coaching. I've taken off my sort of A-grade hat after sort of 16 years of doing that. It's all care and no responsibility these days, Craig. Obviously, Byron Murphy's the playing coach, and I'm his sort of match day assistant. So I'd sort of make all the moves and get all the pats on the back. But when things go wrong, it's his fault. So it's pretty good. The other part of my role is to basically coach all the coaches down to junior level, and obviously yesterday we had some juniors running around, so you go down and offer a bit of advice and a bit of support for all the coaches, all the way from A grade down to under 8s and everyone in between. So.
But it's not only the male side of it, mate. You've also got a very strong connection with women's football as well.
Absolutely exploding here. I mean, Morphettville Park women's team has been very successful. I'm obviously learning a little bit about the landscape on how it all comes together.
Yep.
But they've been highly successful, and we're really pleased that they've stuck around with our organisation. And I'm confident Morphettville Park women's football will continue to thrive over the years.
And of course, I was at Christie's Beach Oval yesterday with the start of another Southern Football League club, Christie's Beach, who actually had their first game up against an old amateur league stalwart in Gazer.
Yep.
And they did very, very well. So again, it's about building the process with the women, but you're certainly a forerunner in regards to that.
Absolutely, and I think, women's football is getting a lot of exposure, and the more games they play, the better it's going to be. And as I say, it's good for our footy club to have them on board, and we really enjoy what's happening with it. Yeah, it's great.
Well, mate, quick look now at round 2. We've got some exciting games. Brighton, you tipped them to beat Hackham.
Obviously had a great start, and Paul Whaley's a good coach. He's been around a long time, so Brighton would be looking forward to kicking a few goals against Hackham, you'd think.
You saw Cove last week. How do you rate their chances against Flagstaff Hill, who had a really good first up win against Ranella?
Yeah, Justin Calderbate was fairly disappointed on the weekend, and rightly so. He put a lot of time and effort into his game, but they've got a new style of play. They've got some good young players. I don't think this oval really suited Cove. Get them on some open space, they'll be hard to beat. Flagstaff Hill obviously will be feeling pretty good about themselves, but beware the wounded cobra.
Oh yeah, strike the venom.
Strike the venom.
Strike the venom. Morphettville and Noarlunga, and Noarlunga would be smarting after their loss to Brighton.
Yep.
They journeyed down to Emu Park. Always a hard ground to win at.
Yep.
Morphettville coming off a really good win. How do you see this one?
Yeah, and Morphettville have recruited really well. Dennis Ilgeson's a guy with obviously plenty of ability. He played in the Great Southern League, played at South Adelaide, so he will add some firepower to them. Hodgie's another one's gone to Morphettville. But yeah, Noarlunga, Barry Pillmore's a pretty experienced campaigner. He will be looking to bounce back pretty hard. I'm going to tip Noarlunga.
Ooh, okay, okay. Well, you're right, because Barry, as I've heard on the grapevine, all the normal situations, players go in, supporters and whatever after the game. Yeah. Players only, lock the door. Had a bit of a stern word to them. So
stuff. Yeah, they'll bounce back.
They will. Yeah. And that's actually our broadcast game this week with the Tribe FM radio match of the day. Mm-hmm. Christie's Beach, surprising losers to Port Noarlunga in the Battle of the Sock. Should account for O'Sullivan's Beach.
You would think so. OSB will be keen to, go a bit better. They obviously got a bit of a shock with Aldinga last week. But Christie's Beach have recruited well, and they're expecting big things down at Bice Oval this year. So I'll pick the Saints. You pick the Saints in that one. And what about Port Noarlunga? Good first up win against Christie's at Christie's. That's always a hard ground to win at as well. They take on the Marion Rams. You touched on it before, didn't you? Port Noarlunga have flown under the radar. We don't know much about them, and I think that's the way Nick Manhood would like it. Marion, I see both the Carter boys are playing for Marion now. They're a couple of pretty big units, so they're always going to be a tough side. I think Marion's one of those sides that if you don't go in with the great intensity, you'll get knocked over. So, and Happy Valley saw at half time, they're only 8 points in front or whatever it was. Marion are not to be taken lightly, but Port Noarlunga will win that one. And
the reigning premiers take on Aldinga. First up win for Aldinga.
Well,
That'd be cock a hoop.
Yeah, I mean,
Different kettle of fish this week with Ranella.
Yeah,
At Ranella.
Yeah. Ranella are obviously going to bounce back. They've got so much talent in their side. But I think the message is, and we touched on it before with Damien Smith down at Aldinga, they've got some new recruits. He's got some connections in that part of the world. They're clearly improving. Don't pencil in Aldinga for a win because you could get your pants pulled down and that'd be embarrassing.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so really exciting round coming up, round 2. Kicked off really well with round 1.
Yep.
Expectations for Morphy Parks?
Yeah.
All right. Very disappointed. Had a good season last season.
Yeah.
Got pipped in the first final.
Yep.
Never a nice way to go out.
No, and look, Morphy Parks are rebuilding. That would be my comment. We've lost some players. You know, guys like Ruwalt's gone to Foss and Matt Barry's done a knee. Benny McConnell's gone back to Bordertown. So there's some outs, but there are some new guys who've come into the club. Riley Chance, a new guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, who are some of the newer lads that are stepping up?
Yeah, Riley Chance would be one of them. Matt Walmsley Pace is a guy who's come down from the southeast for us, so he's another good recruit. Kurt Warren is a guy from Port Lincoln, but also guys like Mitch Rehberger and Scott Ellis who've gone elsewhere and have come back to our footy club. You know, strong bodies and certainly going to help us in close. So, look, our expectations are to make the finals, but we are certainly rebuilding.
Any exciting young kids that have come through your junior program?
Craig, I'm glad you asked that because we have got some exciting players coming through. Jack McDermott played his first A-grade game on the weekend and, you know, we held him back a little bit, but his last 20 minutes were exciting. Got out. There's not a lot of space out here at Morphy Parks, but he found some in the last quarter. He was good. Aaron Rainey's a guy who plays in the back pocket. He's done some training with the Crows. The other fellow, young Chris Barnes, I think he's an exciting player. Alex Barnes obviously plays out at North Adelaide. Chris Barnes is not as big as Alex, but Chris, he plays like he's 25 years old and I reckon he's about 19. So he's a good footballer, Chris Barnes. I really like the look of him. So, and Dylan Gorge would be another one who's come through our junior ranks and we're pretty excited and pretty chuffed for those guys.
So all pretty rosy down here, looking for a really competitive season.
Craig, I'm trying to downplay it. You know that. We've got Happy Valley this week, which will be a massive game for both sides. I think this is...
Well, you've got a bit of a
massive rivalry
with the Valleys.
Absolutely. And, they've lost a few players, so they've probably come back to the pack a bit, but I think they will be like us, mid-table. So the winner of this game probably fancy their chances to play finals, I'd reckon.
All right, exciting round 2 coming up. Thanks for coming in today.
Terrific, yeah.
And that takes us out for round 2. Exciting round coming up this Saturday. There's more to come on the SA Sports Show.